Okay, my name is Sarah Bratcher. I am here to present to you bookkeeping and business basics for newer real estate investors, or if you've been in there a while and you just want to make sure that you're doing things right, this is for you too. I There's one person online with us today. If he starts talking, that's what it is. But I'm recording this for the Better Life Tribe members. I volunteered to do a monthly webinar for Better Life Tribe to talk about all things accounting. Just to be here. I'm a CPA. I'm allergic to taxes, and I do bookkeeping for real estate investors. I'm not here. This isn't a sales pitch. I'm not here to pitch you my stuff or, have you come outsource your bookkeeping to me. I truly just want to add value to the group. So many people have added value to me and my husband. We have our own portfolio that we're growing as well. So this is just kind of like my way to add value back. But you can find me on Circle. Just send me a DM if you want to go deeper into things and or if you want to talk about, using my services, that's fine. But this isn't a sales pitch, but I do offer it if needed. I have talked about and Tristan Gardner mentioned this subject for Better Life Tribe to do like a big course on. And I agree. I would love to help with that. I've actually been, I have the outline and I've been recording some videos for kind of a mini course for my clients. And I'm going to do like weekly co-working sessions with some of them that are just starting out to help them get a better grasp of bookkeeping and the back office stuff for businesses, especially for like a real estate portfolio business, or if you're doing flips, this could help too. I do have like chart of accounts I give people out, and just message me in Circle if you want any of those, or you can. My email address is on there too. I can send it either way. But anyways, we got lots of stuff going on, and um, I in our WhatsApp for Better Life Tribe. Um, I We've talked about maybe doing some co-working sessions for accountability, and I am looking to get something like that started for the Better Life Tribe as well. But I may offer it uh, elsewhere too, because I love the idea, and I think it's amazing. So many people come to me and they just don't know where to start. So um, it'd be great if we had a community like that and everybody could answer questions. But we could also do deep dives if somebody needed, to know how to do a journal entry to enter um, uh, a new property they've just bought. Then we can deep dive into that and show all the keys to doing a journal entry. And anyways, that's where we're at. Let's start with this. This isn't a very long presentation this evening. Um, it's a very kind of high level view of bookkeeping and business basics. I want to do this, and I want to get some feedback from the tribe members to see which area you first want to do like a huge deep dive, because pretty much each of these slides and topics, we can go 30 minutes for each of them. So I wanted to do just kind of like a quick, this may be about 10 minutes long, just kind of overview of some basics. Uh, Excuse me, some basics of it, and just kind of talk about, and then we can do deep dives later on, or hit us up in the Better Life Tribe WhatsApp, and we can do deep dives in the WhatsApp. If you have questions there, I'm there to answer and help bring value to the tribe. That's where we're at. All righty, here we go. So first, I want to talk about the importance of setting up an accounting system and why every business needs a solid accounting foundation from day one. Excuse me, got tongue tied. And I don't want to scare people off who haven't had a solid accounting foundation from day one. It's fine. Start where you're at. Start where you're at. If you are, a lot of people say, just get started. Brandon says, just get started, just get started. And I am 100% in agreement with that. Just get started, and we can start where you're at. But the sooner to day one as you get started, the better. It is let me get my thoughts out here. It if you the sooner you get started, the better, because you can implement things earlier on as you grow your business and get more properties. It just takes more time to implement them all. And I know, as entrepreneurs and real estate investors, we go fast, we go hard. We like to get these deals under our belt and start cash flowing as quickly as we can, and that's great too. So just want to go over, and I think one of the biggest thing we all know when it comes tax time, it's if we have been organizing our books and tracking our expenses, uh, tax preparation is a lot smoother and faster, if you have it already ready and you don't have to spend hours like remembering what happened last January. Um, an organized system will help you track profitability and growth opportunities, especially as investors when we're looking at one project over the other. And we kind of have the feeling like, oh, my resources are not here, something is going wrong. And then you can look down and to see which property is taking up so much of your cash and be like, okay, maybe we would be better off selling it. Maybe we would be better off. Matt and I were talking about just now, co-living. Maybe we should change strategies and change it from a long-term rental to a co-living. But when you have your accounting spread, spelled out right there, you can see and make decisions like that really, really easily. And because in our mind, we can sit there and think, okay, I get $1,000 a month for this unit, and my mortgage for that part of it is 500, and insurance is this much, and I'm bringing home $100 a month. We can do that mental math, but a lot of times when we put it on paper, it may be more because we're forgetting something. So that's the biggest thing to track the profitability. Write on a sheet of paper. Excel spreadsheets fine. QuickBooks is my go-to. Um, and a caveat, QuickBooks isn't my favorite software out there, but it has amazing reporting capabilities for real estate investors, and it's my go-to for real estate investors because of that. There are other really good programs out there, but they're missing a piece here or they're missing a piece there, and they just don't have it all. I would love to have enough time to build a program that rivals QuickBooks, but they have years ahead of me, and I have a lot of other things I'm doing right now, so I don't have time. But it helps ensure compliance with IRS and local regulations. When you are tracking your expenses, it keeps you um reporting the correct amounts, so you don't get as many penalties if something comes out and you're like, oh, I forgot about that. So get ahead of it. So the sorry about that, I've got a scratchy throat this evening. So the key components of an effective accounting system. And these are just the bare minimum basics. There's lots more that could go into this, but when we're just starting out, and we have maybe 5 or less properties, these are the big areas that I want to touch on. The software, and that could be Google Sheets. It's free. Google Sheets could be your software. That is fine. Start with whatever is most simple for you, and go from there. And basically, and I'll go into this more in a little bit, but basically just keep a sheet with your income and keep a sheet with your expenses, and then total it up at the end. Um, a clear chart of accounts. This is probably one of the most underestimated tools in getting a good accounting system together. I see a lot of people when they come to me for my services, they get so overwhelmed as what to call this expense. Well, I like to use the most simplest chart of accounts that I can, because for the most part, the IRS doesn't need like a huge 20-page profit and loss. If you look at your last year's tax return, if you have one where you already had property, your tax preparer did not use, most likely did not use like an overly, amount of chart of accounts there. They usually try to simple it down and bulk a bunch of stuff in like office expenses and utilities. Like the IRS doesn't need to know under utilities how much your phone bills were and how much your gas bills and your electric bills and your water bills. They don't need all that. That is purely for reporting, for you to know what it is. And your tax preparer can help you, when you go from reporting for you to look at your financials to tax preparation. Your tax preparer can help you hone in and see what is really important that needs to be broken out for tax purposes. There are several different things, and it's every taxpayer is different. What is important to be broken out, and how your business is set up. If you're an LLC, if you're an S corp, or if you're just you're just on your Schedule C, it's reported differently than the others. Um, Expenses are more important in some ways. So anyways, chart of accounts is so important. Simplify it as much as you can. Don't get to, like, if you're confused as what goes to maintenance and what goes to repairs, then just do one category as maintenance and repairs. And then, as you start looking at the reports on a monthly basis and you figure out, oh, wait a minute, I do want that split out. You can always, start from there and move forward with things more split out, if that makes sense. Um, Bank accounts, that's another big thing I see, is people not separating their business and personal bank accounts, number one. And then as real estate investors, most real estate commissions want to see, they have specifics on your security deposits. So look at your commission's rules on security deposits and how they need to be tracked, if they can earn interest, if they have to earn interest, if they have to be separate from each you know property and everything. But that's the biggest thing. But if you don't have time to dig into all that, I would say at least have like your operating expenses and a security deposit account, or a trust account is kind of what they call it. But those are the three biggest things when getting started that you need to make a decision on. And again, there are so many options out there for the software. Start simple, start with what you know, and then, just move into it later. It's easier than said than done, but that's kind of where we are. The cost of neglecting bookkeeping, you could have fines and penalties. Poor decision making. Like I said, our mental math isn't always what comes out on paper, and I've seen that hurt a lot of people, because when they come to me and I do a historical cleanup, and I'm like, well, you lost $100,000 last year, and they're like, no, this project did this and this project did this, but they forgot about some key pieces, and they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. And so, which we know as real estate investors, and a loss is, not, it's fine as long as we're still cash flowing, but you still want to know more. It's better, more accurate for you to make decisions with. And missed deductions. I always say, I see Amanda Hahn. I try to comment on her stuff all the time, and she agrees with me. But I seriously think that bookkeeping is the number one tax strategy every single entrepreneur, business owner should use, because when you pay, Amanda Hahn is very expensive to get an hour call with her. And I mean, it costs more than my first car cost me. So if I'm paying that much to help to have her get me a tax strategy, I want to be certain that my books are in order so she can help me make decisions from there. If I go into a meeting with Amanda Hahn and I'm just like, oh, here are my bank statements, she's not going to be able to give me that high level tax strategy that I'm really looking for. So we're probably not all looking to book a call with Amanda Hahn just yet. Some of us are, some of us aren't. Um, and even if we're not that high level, you're using a local accountant that may not know your situation very well. They're not talking to you all the time. So they just kind of take your bank statements and they put it in there. And if they see Walmart in there, they may say, oh, that's personal expenses, and take it out of there. When you know that was Walmart, you bought a space heater because one night because the heater wasn't working very well, and that's an actual business expense, and they see it's Walmart and they're like, oh, they bought groceries there. So anyways, tons of missed deductions when we don't have it tracked properly, especially when we're just taking our bank statements to our tax preparer, which it's fine if you're just taking them to them. A lot of times it's fine, but if we get them on a spreadsheet or into QuickBooks, we're going to be better off there. QuickBooks Essentials for the do-it-yourself entrepreneur. Again, QuickBooks is my favorite uh for my favorite software for real estate investors because of the reporting aspect. First, before we go into more details on QuickBooks, there are tons of levels of QuickBooks, and there's an expensive one that most real estate investors use that is, I think it's like $99 a month now. I have a code that can get you 30% off for 12 months. Hit me up on Circle and I can send that to you. I don't think I get anything for it except for just be like, hey, you're a good, salesman for us. Keep doing it. I don't get actual money back from it. Um, but it's good for you because you get 30% off for a year. If you want to try it, you get 30 days free if you want to try it too. You could, we're in tax season right now. You could throw everything in there in 30 days, print out some reports and never pay for it. Or, I mean, probably shouldn't have said that out loud to everyone, but if you have 30 days to decide if you want to do it. So put it all in there, see if it works for you, then pay it and keep it up every month for the next year if you want to continue to use it. So that's the one that most real estate investors use because it has the class option. So you can put all your different properties as a class in there, and then that's where you get the better reports. Now, there's a much cheaper version that's like 30 something dollars, I think, and it does not have the class function, but just a hack between me and you, and don't tell QuickBooks that I'm advertising this, but you could get the lower $30 level and use customers. Put 123 Main Street as a customer instead of a class, and that'll get you, there. Also, if you just have one property, you don't need to use either of them. You can just put them in there, and then as you grow, then you could get the bigger packages through them. Just a quick tip on how to get QuickBooks for cheaper. So the first two things to set up QuickBooks. Again, this is a super high overview. And if somebody wants a deep dive in it, I have a sample company, and maybe next month we can do a webinar with more people, and we can go in and I can actually do some things in QuickBooks and show you how to do some QuickBooks stuff. But step one, you want to link your bank accounts, and you know what? I put these in wrong. Honestly, you can do them in either order, but my first step I usually say is to customize your chart of accounts and get them in there. I have a chart of accounts. Just hit me up on Circle if you want a copy of them, and I'll email them your way, and you can customize them with your bank name, your property names for your assets and liabilities and stuff like that. But it has a description. I have it in an Excel sheet, and it has a description of when you would use each category in there. But yeah, so you want to customize your chart of accounts, and my spreadsheet that I send you, you can just import it into QuickBooks, and it's right there for you. And you want to this one of the first steps, these could be interchangeable, I guess. You want to link your bank accounts under transactions and bank transactions. It's very easy. It'll guide you to link your bank accounts straight to there. And the best thing with automated bank feeds is you don't have to type every single thing out. Most of it's already there. And then QuickBooks will remember that you, every time you have a bill from the natural gas company, that it's under utilities. And it'll start to learn it. And then you can even make rules in it. And I know there have been glitches in QuickBooks lately. They've been updating stuff. Things have been crazy. But usually you just have to log out and log back in and it'll be fine. But we've been good for a few weeks now. I think there were some glitches earlier this year, with it not happening, but, they usually tend to fix it pretty quick. So. Three features you can't ignore in QuickBooks: invoicing and payment tracking. If you need your accounts receivable and your accounts payable through there, those are some deep dives we can do. Again, this is a very high level. But if you have something you pay every single month and you don't have auto drafts or something like that, you can use QuickBooks to do that. Expense categorization, again, that goes with the chart of accounts. Make sure you categorize everything where it needs to go. And if you need to put it in, a different category, then like a ask accountant or, a uncategorized or something like that. And then you can go back and research, oh yeah, that's where I put that, and you can change it later. Again, I can pull up QuickBooks next month if anybody wants to do a deep dive into using QuickBooks. And then another thing I like about QuickBooks is the reconciliation feature. I didn't put it on here, but I feel like there are some softwares out there that don't have the reconciliation feature, and it hurts you for verifying your data. Um, you really need it reconciled to make sure you don't have any duplicate transactions in there accidentally, because you can accidentally add an expense and then pull one in from the bank feed. I've seen that happen on many occasions. And especially as we're just starting to learn QuickBooks and everything, we want as many checks and balances as we can. And the reconciliation feature is very good in there. And it also will tell you if you've duplicated it or if you've missed a transaction. If you accidentally excluded one of those transactions and it needs to be in there, it'll tell you that. And then again, the reports in QuickBooks, I love the reports in QuickBooks. They show you your profit and loss by class or by customer property. Your balance sheet, it shows you where you're standing for your assets, and lenders want to see your balance sheet. They want to see what your how much you have borrowed against your current assets. All those, they get all those fancy ratios and numbers from these sheets. And then cash flow. QuickBooks doesn't have the best cash flow report, but if you look at it long enough, you can compare them and you can see the trend of the cash flows. So it's still worth it. But the balance sheet and profit and loss are great for that. Oh yeah, and I forgot I had that down there. And we already talked about this, but yeah, automating the bank feed helps tremendously. You don't have to type out every single date, amount, transaction, everything, and avoiding the entries with the reconciliation. And now just to touch on tracking income and expenses consistently. Keep your business and personal finances separate. We talked about that a little bit on setting up your bank accounts. This there's many reasons you want to keep your business and personal finances separate legally. You can, what they call, pierce the corporate veil if you have personal expenses in there. Your LLC is kind of like a shield where if something happens under that, they can legally only go after what's in the LLC. But if you start putting personal expenses in your business account or business account, if you commingle all that, that will show that your personal and your business are together, and legally they can go after your personal assets as well, if they have a good lawyer and all that. So, but legally that's for it. And then also you don't want the IRS to catch you deducting personal expenses. So keep them separate. Using apps and tools to record receipts and transactions on the go. If you do decide to go with QuickBooks, they have an app on your phone. You can take a quick picture. But I honestly wouldn't suggest keeping your receipts there, because not 10 years, that's under the thing, but say 3 years from now, the IRS is like, hey, we're going to audit you. This looks fishy. Going through QuickBooks, like giving the IRS, you don't want to give the IRS access to your QuickBooks, but giving the IRS all of your receipts, you'll have to go through every single transaction in QuickBooks and hit print, and go into the other and hit print. I would actually suggest using like Google Drive, Dropbox. There's some others out there. HubDoc, I think it's Google Drive is the only one that's uh, free. The others I think are paid, but I would do something like that so you can easily, you just have them in one file and you can easily forward to them or print them out, print all and all that. It's good to have them in QuickBooks to look back easily, but as for receipt management and audit purposes, if anything ever happens that you actually need them, it's not the greatest. And they may change it by, in 3 years, but we'll see how it goes. But absolutely, when you are, at Lowe's getting materials to fix that door, while you're checking out, just make it a habit to take a picture of that and upload it. And, organize a naming convention where you put like the date, the house, and the category, or, just something there, and be consistent on that. So when you go in to look at them all, they're all consistent and you see them. Those are my biggest tips on receipt management. Common expense categories for real estate investors and, I don't know where entrepreneurs is there. Professional services, repairs, marketing, and travel. And there's actually a lot more than this. I abbreviated it quickly, but continuing ed is a good one there. Efficient tracking will help you when you start budgeting and forecasting. I actually have a podcast, and I just had a podcast with a fellow GoBundance girl, and she does budgeting and forecasting, and it was fun. It was amazing. But it's called REI Accounting Talk. We're on Spotify and Apple if you want to go look at more stuff for budgeting and forecasting. And she has a bunch of stuff out for that too. And then preparing for taxes and audits. And when I say audits here, it's not always uh, the IRS auditing you. I think a lot of us have seen recently the Real Estate Commission wants to audit your security deposits, and general liability, especially if you're a flipper, you have general liability audits to make sure your general liability is, where it needs to be, and you're not covering a bunch of other people. So yeah, all of those random audits, the insurance and everything that comes through the year, much easier. I'll just tell you, I had a general liability audit for a very large flipper about 2 years ago, and they came to me to clean up their books and to help them get this audit, because they had this general liability audit like really quickly. And so I had the capacity to help them, but I had to charge them almost $6,000 just to get it done and everything and quickly, so they could turn it out in time for the audit. It would have been so much cheaper had they just had me doing their stuff monthly and not having to do it. And on top of it, they didn't have all the stuff down, so they were charged like $15,000 on top of it for not having general liability certificates on all of their contractors. So if you're flipping, be careful for general liability audits, and general liability audits can come from anybody. So not just flippers, but usually if you're doing some kind of construction like that, it is. The most common mistakes I've seen real estate investors make, mixing business and personal finances. Um, it does complicate your taxes, and you have a more expensive tax prep because you've got to separate all those out, and the tax preparer doesn't know exactly what all is personal, so they're going to default to everything is personal, and you're going to miss the deductions from it. Ignoring reconciliations, you need that double check to make sure you don't have any duplicate or missed ones. Oh, I did not mean to go back the other way. Forgetting to record small expenses. There's sometimes we don't get everything in there. Maybe we used our personal card for something, and we're not supposed to mix business and personal, but a lot of I've seen it happen a lot of times where and I guess that's another fault of commingling, is you miss a lot of the smaller expenses. Not categorizing transactions correctly. I have seen people put their whole mortgage payment under their expenses, and you can only expense the interest and maybe the property insurance and taxes part of it. And I've seen that, hurt people before. So got to make sure you're getting it done correctly. And then doing everything manually. When you just got one property, it should be okay to do it manually. But if you have the means to go ahead and do the lowest level of QuickBooks and get as much as you can automated, that helps tremendously. All righty. That is all I have for my presentation today. And that is what we talked about. Here's my email right here if you want to email me directly with any questions. Again, I have nothing to sell you. You're my Better Life Tribe members. I will upload this to YouTube, so if anybody that's not in the Better Life Tribe happens to watch it, then you need to join the Better Life Tribe because we are awesome. But you are welcome to email me. I will answer any questions you have as well. So
Thank you, Sarah.